Good evening, everyone. Welcome back for another session celebrating the Coach Education Day. We'll just wait for another minute or so and have everybody join in, and then we'll kickstart this session. So please wait for another minute or so. Thank you. Right, I think we are good to go. Welcome back, everybody. Today is the second day and the second webinar of our Coach Education Day celebration. And this will be a special webinar again. We've brought some international flavor to it, some international knowledge. Thanks to our partners, Sports Session Planner, SSP. I don't know if all of you had followed our Instagram and social media. We've tied up with SSP, which is a great solution for coaches and players to make their session planning more professional, make their education sharing and delivery of their session plans more effective through a software which gives you all creativity options and worth checking out. And through them, we've been able to have Mark Lee with us today. And I'd like to thank both SSP and Mark for taking out the time, accepting our invitation, and coming on board for this 3-day celebration. And today's this webinar's topic is coaches' connection with the players. And before we start, I'd just quickly like to introduce Mark as well, give his little background. He's been an ex-player with the Lynn University in USA, Western Australia Player of the Year. He's played for the Perth Glory in the A League for 3 seasons, and after that, I think he's gone heavy into coaching. He is an AFC B license, so all of you are well familiar with the terminology, since we also follow the AFC licensing criteria, and he's training people who are as young as infants, as 18 months old, till about people who are 70, 75 years old. So he's heavy into coaching people from all age groups, all levels of professionality. And without further ado, I would like to have Mark online and welcome, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Akash. First of all, I'm honoured and humbled to be given this opportunity, and I think what you guys are doing is outstanding, and it's really fantastic to be part of it. And hopefully, the listeners today, if they just take one thing away from our discussion, I'll be really proud. So thanks again for the invite, and well done for everything you guys are doing for the game.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to a very insightful and enriching webinar. Just a message for everybody. In case उनका accent समझने में मुश्किल होती है, if you have a difficulty understanding the accent or issue with English, please कोई भी doubt हो, any query, please type it in the chat box. We will clarify each and every point. And in case there's issue with internet, wait for us. We will come back and continue the webinar for sure. So over to you, Mark, and let's kickstart this webinar. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Fantastic. Thanks, Akash. So, like you said, I get the opportunity to coach and engage with people from all different backgrounds, all abilities. Obviously, my accent, I'm originally from the northeast of England, and being blessed that football has given me so many opportunities and taken me all around the world. And if you'd have said when I was a young player that I get the opportunity to present in front of an audience in India, I would have been immensely proud. And I actually think football, to me, I loved playing the game, but I love coaching more because I believe you can connect and impact and engage and use football as that vehicle to have a massive influence on the children, on the adults that you coach. So it's not just about coaching the elite players. I get the pleasure to do that as well. But I'd say 99% of my coaching is simply using football to connect with as many different people from as many different backgrounds and nationalities as possible. And the last time I was working for Football West here in Perth, I decided to, after I finished my professional career, I decided to start my own coaching business. And one of those businesses is pro football training, which is what I will speak today about. Today's presentation is all about connections and the connections we can make through coaching before, during, and after our coaching sessions. So without further ado, we shall get started. And like I said before, Cash, hopefully I'm a better coach than I am with PowerPoints. For some reason, sir.
I think just press the cursor and you'll be good to switch.
There we go.
Yeah.
Apologies, guys. So pro football training was launched back in 2009. And it was our passion, our belief that we could engage footballers from all different walks of life and give them opportunities here in Western Australia, but also overseas. So we spend a lot of time back in Europe. We take boys and girls on tours so they can experience the professional side of the game, which allows us to obviously learn as coaches and also introduce not just the players, but their parents on what it takes to become a professional footballer. Obviously, here in Australia, it's a long way away from Europe, and the pathway in Australia is a lot different from in Europe. So we're delighted that we do get the opportunity to do that. So we launched in 2009, and we now coach around about 1,600 children every single week in the programs that we run. I'll speak today a little bit about football in Australia. Obviously, the football landscape is so small now, and we have coaches all around the world. So to develop and strengthen links with countries such as India, it is fantastic. And to share our knowledge and never ever to see anybody as a threat. I think coaching, the best coaches are the ones that can really take information and have that ability to share. And a wonderful quote that I heard from a guy called Horst Bean. Many of you guys may have heard of Horst. Obviously, India is massive, not just only in soccer, but in hockey as well. And Horst was a coach, and he told me that the coaches make the best thieves. So I think as a coach, you have to have that ability to always look, and not just at your chosen sport, be aware of other sports and be really confident to ask as many questions to learn and take as many ideas as you can. I'll speak a bit about this session. Obviously, Sports Session Planner is just an outstanding tool. So lots of us have the ability to view sessions on YouTube. Every single session is out there from all different clubs, from all different countries. But the details that go into that session are very, very important. And my big focus today is how we connect with people in our session before, during, and after. Also speak about a model that we use called the total player model, which I'll discuss, and hopefully you guys may have seen it before. If you haven't, you may find it interesting. Hopefully you can implement that in your coaching. Also speak about the pyramid of success that we use, and obviously at the end there'll be time for questions and answers. So you'll obviously be aware of Sports Session Planner, one of the best tools I've ever seen, and we use it on a regular basis. I believe that there's a lot of fantastic coaches out there, but I think there's a lot of coaches out there that maybe use sessions and may have the best ideas. But if I'm being honest, I don't think you can deliver your session unless you connect with the people that you're coaching. So it's very, very important that as coaches, we understand that we can give them as much technical and tactical knowledge as possible, but I don't think we can really connect with them until they understand that we generally care about them as young people. So they're not just footballers, first and foremost, they are our people, and football is just a small part of the fantastic person that hopefully they are or may become. Before session, when we're coaching, I see a lot of coaches literally start their session. So the session starts at 7 o'clock on an evening, and that's when their coaching session starts. I think you're missing out massively if that's your philosophy. To me, coaching starts as soon as the child or the player enters the dressing room where you are, leaves the car, comes into the sports centre where you're coaching, walks out onto the pitch. So as a coach and the coaches that I work with, I'm constantly encouraging them to use eye contact, to be aware, to be on the lookout, to see as soon as you see that child or that player enter your coaching environment, you've got to be the one to make the first contact. I think that's really important. And I think when players come to see you, they understand that you genuinely care about them and you take an interest in them, you're going to produce some fantastic footballers that are really confident. And ultimately, you're going to have a huge impact on them as a young person. So I'm always looking out for when they enter. What do you do when you see them? For me, it's very important. If there's a ball there, you pass a ball to them. People come to do football in your session, they want a ball. So if I see a child leaving his parents, I'll pass them the ball straight away, and instantly that's that connection. Any kind of barrier, any kind of confidence issues the child, the player may have, will be quickly alleviated when a ball is played to them. So we get a lot of success from that, simply passing the child or the player a ball. Get to their level. How often do we see coaches standing above kids? It can be quite tough as a young child if you have an adult standing over you, first part of the session, any part of the session. So we try and get down to their level. We go down on a knee to shake the hand. We sit down on the floor. I get a huge response from that. And it really does give the kids confidence if you can get to their level, get to their eye contact. Obviously, in this day and age, I get the pleasure of coaching people from all different backgrounds, all nationalities. And sometimes a handshake, a fist bump or a high five isn't part of their culture. In Australia, the majority of the kids will respond massively to a handshake, a fist bump or a high five. And what we find is, after the first couple of sessions, they're the ones that run over and have that confidence to come and see us first as well, and introduce themselves and ask us how our day has been. Like I just said before, be interested in the person. How was your day? Tell me something new. What did you do in class? What did you do in school? The older generation, how was work? You know, anything interesting happened today? And straight away that takes the emphasis away from the football. The player, the child that you're coaching genuinely feels part of something and feels you've took a vested interest in them as a person. So we get a lot of success from that. We've got a game that we use regular, and it's a little bit like paper, scissors, rock. We call it bish, bash, bosh. So please, I'd love you guys to try this. Basically, you go bish, bash, bosh, and you can use 5 fingers, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0. The child or the player does the same, and you quickly have to add up the score. So if I've got 5 and a cash holds out 2, and I call out 7 first, I win the game. The amount of times we have kids running to us now shouting bish, bash, bosh is fantastic. I guess it's a little bit of an icebreaker. So as a coach, I'm constantly looking for different ways, not just for the kids and the players, but also for myself. Can we go on, guys? Everything okay? And again,
You want to take Mark? You want to take whatever questions come in between, or should we keep it right at the end?
okay, no problem. So I can
No.
continue.
No, you want to? Is it okay if we take few questions?
Absolutely, yeah. Please, please.
Okay. I think someone has raised a hand, and now he's put it down. So that's okay. We can.
Maybe he was playing bish bash bosh.
Yeah.
Again, obviously, I've played the game, so when you have played the game, you do get that respect because you can demonstrate and things. So I tell coaches always be prepared to have a kick with the players. You know, show them a different skill, a different trick. Start out with a 1v1 game, and I think even before your session started, you can have a major influence on the players that you're working with. And what we do now, I've seen for the past 3 or 4 years, we start every session with a free play. A street style environment.
Sorry, Mark, we've got a request for if you could repeat the bish bash bosh.
Absolutely, no problem. So, Akash, you and I will play a game now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, bish, bash, bosh, 7. You can't see me. Yeah. So I would have won that game. 5 plus 2 is 7. You get it? We'll play one more time.
It's always 1-on-1, or is it?
Yeah, it's just basically add up the 2 scores. So I've got 5. You said 2, and I've got the person that shouts out the answer first wins the game.
So can it be in a group of players also, or just 1-on-1?
For Akash, that's taking it next level. Do you know what? Correct. I'm going to use that. I haven't thought about that, but you've given me a new idea. That's a great way to do it. So it's normally 1-on-1. Yeah. But now here in Perth, we'll play Akash, bish bash bosh.
Yeah. Awesome.
Is that okay, guys? Did you understand that?
London, what I can do is, does that answer your question?
If you guys follow me on social media, I'll set up a football Dehli bish bash bosh tournament tomorrow morning with the kids, and we'll show you how the game works. Just if you follow me on Twitter, Pro Football Training Programs, you can see us on there.
Sure, I think I'll have you mention it in the chat for everybody. Then we can take that up on
no problem. Okay, moving on, guys. So again, I think it's very important that the kids, when they come in our session, there's always pitches set up. So we set our sessions up with inside a pitch, and the kids know they come in, they introduce themselves, we have a chat, whatever, but they always know that they start off a game, whether that be, first kid comes in and I'm playing against them, or my coaches are playing, we're playing football, tennis. Then the more kids arrive, we go into various small-sided games. I think that's very important. And if I'm being honest, sometimes the games are going so well, and we can create different coaching games within the game. Sometimes we let the kids just continue to play. Okay, during the session, I think for me, coaching is about your personality shining through. And you probably guessed I'm quite an energetic person. I thrive off when I'm coaching. I find that I really do feel comfortable. And I think if you're an energetic person, your energy needs to shine through, and the players that you're working with, they will really buzz off that energy and your enthusiasm. And I think it's very important that we encourage that as well with the players that we coach. Energy is a choice, and for me, I'm very energetic when I coach. Voice tone needs to change at times. Sometimes when I'm coaching kids, I'm very mindful about my interventions. I keep them very, very, very short. Believe it or not, those of you that have coached children, their attention span is very, very small. And sometimes if I think the kids aren't listening, I'll just stop. I find that works really well. So if you find that you're not got the attention of the whole group and you want to say something really magical, really special, mid-sentence, you're talking, all of a sudden, just stop, and that gets their attention. Sometimes you have to be loud, sometimes you can be really, really quiet, but just experiment with your voice tone. Changing positions as well. Be in the middle of the pitch, be on the outside, go and stand next to a player, be completely removed from the coaching session, but constantly be changing where you are. not just for the players, but for yourself as well. It gives you a different viewpoint, gives you a different camera angle. So constantly be changing where you are. Sometimes you stand up, sometimes you're kneeling down, sometimes there's a seat there, have a sit down. It keeps the players on their toes, and it keeps you an interesting view as well. Like I said, it gives you a different viewpoint of your session. Keywords, buzzwords, words that your players know. You don't have to be giving them 20, 30, 40 seconds. It really upset me. I was viewing a session in the week, and there was one intervention where the coach literally spoke to the kids for 4 minutes, 22 seconds. That's probably 4 minutes, 10 seconds too long. So kids want to come and play. You've got to make the most of every single second. So get your keywords in. Like I said, use your pauses when you're in front of an audience and get eye contact. I find if I'm in front of a group and I've got the right body position and I'm not standing with my back to certain players and everybody can see me, because remember, we're very skilled in what we can do and we've all got a passion for the game. If you've got something to say, it's got a meaning to it and you want to get your point across. So make sure your audience are listening. You're constantly looking at their eyes. If you think that someone's switched off, think of a little thing to say to them, or it might be a pause, or you might just even look at them. And as soon as they raise their eyes, they know that you're checking them to make sure that they listen to you. So give eye contact as much as possible. It was interesting. I was coaching an Asian child at one of our camps, and this was a big learning one for me, because he wasn't giving me eye contact, and it wasn't part of who he was. It wasn't part of his culture. So it's great me seeing eye contact with some. That's not part of some people's culture. So that was a big learning curve for me as well. Don't shine the light during a session. How often as players have we been training or we've been coached and we make a mistake, heaven forbid, we make a mistake in a training session, and then all of a sudden the coach stops and this big light gets shined on you, and all of a sudden your friends are stopping and listening, the session stopped, the rest of the players are frustrated because they want to play, then the coach singles you out. So try not to shine the light. Use your interventions wisely. Better still, keep the ball rolling. Keep the ball rolling and be really, really wise with how you speak to your players. You might just go in one-on-one when the game's going on or the session's going on. But as much as possible, don't shine the light on one player, because I don't think that has a good impact. And it certainly doesn't help with your coach and the players you're trying to engage. Like I said, keep the ball rolling. First heard this term maybe 10 years ago back in England. Makes complete sense. I would say I would aim to 80%, 80 to 90% if you can, depending on the age group. Obviously, with the little kids, I don't think you need to stop it at all. I think if you plan well and if you've got enough tools in your armory, you can keep the ball rolling for the majority of the session. The ball might stop rolling in your session when the kids go for a drink. We give the kids a ball all the time. So even when our session finishes, they go and get a drink, they're dribbling a ball, or they're juggling a ball, or they're playing 1-2s with each other. So they're constantly getting a chance to keep that ball rolling for as long as possible. And again, like I said before, always be, as a coach, you have to scan as well. You have to look at people's body language. And if you find that a player in your session, a child, doesn't quite look as engaged, or they're not their usual bubbly self, then there's an opportunity there for you to make a difference. Something may have gone on during the day, something may be going on in that child's life or that player's life. So during your session, there's an opportunity always to have a look at body language and their facial expressions and how they're conducting themselves to have a positive impact on them. After the session, crucial part, great opportunity for you as a coach to continue to develop and impact on your players. Always finish on a positive. It has to be a positive. It always has to be. Whether that be, Akash, I really loved watching you play today. Your work ethic was fantastic. The kid's going to leave in a positive manner, getting back into parents, family members' car on a real high from your session. These words that we use, try it if you've not tried it before. The 6 key words. I love to watch you play. I try that with my 2 little boys when I see them play basketball or soccer. And at the end of a session, that you'll get such a wonderful response from the kids that you're coaching, or if you're watching your own particular child, simply by saying, I love to watch you play. Don't mention the result. Don't mention how they played. Just simply say, I loved watching you play. The time for analysing the performance better would be the day after. Ideally, when that child does come and ask you for feedback. But at the end of your session, when the adrenaline's still pumping, emotions are high sometimes, I simply love to watch you play. That works a great deal. We have massive impact with those words. We do something with the players that we coach at the end of a session, and we also encourage this to be done on the car journey home. Maybe it's around the dinner table. Something that you did that was good today, something you can do better, and something that was great. Now, the amount of conversations I've had with players over the years when we've asked that, and I haven't even mentioned the training session they've just done. Maybe something they did good that was at school, something they want to do better at work, something they did great, the way they spoke to someone, the way they opened the door for someone. So I think that has a really powerful impact as well. And for parents, if they can have these conversations as soon as the child gets in the car, it takes it all away from the football. Like I said before, football's the vehicle to create better people. We have this wonderful opportunity to do that. And by having these conversations, making it a lot more powerful than the training session or the game of football, can have a huge impact on the players and the people that you're working with. So good, better, great. If you've not tried it, give it a try. I'm sure you'll get a lot of positive results from it. Always finish with a handshake, high five, fist bump. Whatever's, the children that you work with, whatever's part of their culture, try and finish on that. The next part of the presentation, guys, is the total player model that we use. Now, you may have seen this before. This is all based around technical, tactical, physical, mental, emotional, and lifestyle. Getting back to the connections, I still don't think you can have an impact on a footballer, on a young footballer, on the technical, the tactical, or the physical side of the games until they know that you genuinely care about them. And that's when that mental, emotional, lifestyle, those 3 at the bottom are really, really important. I think the FA used the four pillar model, but I think this is huge. Certainly we try and include all of these in every single session we do, no matter what the age of the player is. But that's a model that we've been using for many, many years. And that was inspired by a guy called Bill Beswick that you guys might know of if you haven't heard of him. An outstanding educator, outstanding coach, huge in sports psychology. So check Bill Beswick out. But we were inspired by him to follow his model. Another outstanding man that I'm sure everybody's heard of is a guy called Sir John Wooden, who was a basketball coach, and he wrote The Pyramid of Success, which is what we adapted. Obviously, it's on there. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I think the biggest one for us is that bottom pillar that holds everything up. Love, play the game from your heart, and never forget why you first started playing. And I think everybody that's maybe watching this tonight and involved with this amazing game, we all fell in love with the game at some stage, and you should never forget why you fell in love with the game. And even when we get a little bit older and we're trying to complicate things sometimes, just remember that as that young child, that first child that got that touch of the ball, or was given a soccer ball for their birthday or Christmas, it's really important that we understand why people play this amazing sport. And again, what you're always trying to achieve every single day is that the top part of the pyramid is just be the best it can be and never have any regrets. Some fantastic words in there that I think are all controllables. A lot of the messages we give the players are about controlling the controllables. And I think every single part of that pyramid is something that the child or the player can control. It's a choice that they do make on a daily basis. This is the DNA that we use, which was inspired by the FA DNA many years ago. So part of our players' DNA, which all of the players that we get the opportunity to coach, they all have this. The ones that are really want to take a game as far as possible, they'll put this on the bedroom wall or on their fridge. And it's basically about having a positive attitude, a growth mindset, being a great person, being respectful, playing with imagination and creativity, always wanting to improve, having grit and resilience, never giving up, and being true to yourself. What makes you unique? You know, what makes Akash completely different from everybody else? There's only going to be one Akash. Can he be the best version of himself? And that's our coach's DNA. So we believe as a coach, everybody has an opportunity to play a really positive role in the players' lives. Be a role model, show care and attention, be knowledgeable, know the game, know your players, be presentable, be professional, and again, be unique. You know, in this day and age, like I said before, we can see many sessions in the world. We can watch the best coaches, and you have to be a thief. You've got to pick the best of everybody, but always be yourself and always be unique, and let your personality shine through as much as possible. I'm not sure if this video works, guys, so we can try, but if it doesn't, this is on our YouTube channel. We have lots of videos on there. So if it doesn't work, yeah, it's not work, but you can please have a look on there when you get a chance. These are some of the graduates that we've had, and I can honestly say that all these 6 young men on this slide, we've connected with them from a very early age. So the young man in the top left corner there, that's Zach Glowzen, and he's just signed for Blackburn Rovers. But when I chose these 6 players, that I wanted to think of 1 or 2 words that describe them. And these 1 or 2 words that are intrinsic, but have to be encouraged to the players and the kids that you're working with, that you're coaching. You have to be humble. You know, Zach Glowzen was humble. No matter what session he attended, he didn't used to change. Whether he was playing with kids that were better than him, or whether he was the best in the group, he was very, very humble. The young man in the middle there is Jacob Young. He's now at Hoffenheim, and he was extremely driven. He used to travel 2 hours to come to our training sessions. So very supportive family, but he was very, very, very driven. Young man on the right-hand side there, Jordan Lydon. He went to England, played in the Premier League for Aston Villa. He's now at Swindon Town. Just had great energy. Used to get to sessions a lot earlier. Tell you a funny story about Jordan. He first came into our programs when I arrived in Australia back in 2003. Jordan was born in 1996. So what will that make him? 26, 25? And he used to play with a baseball cap on. And I remember the coaches that we worked with used to always say, listen, Mark, he has to take his baseball cap off. I said, no, leave it, see what happens. And obviously when he had his baseball cap on so low, he had to lift his head. So he played with a baseball cap on every single time, apart from when he played actual games. But in training, he always had this baseball cap on. And subsequently, he's very, very aware on the pitch. And one of his superpowers was his ability to see a pass. And we encourage the players that we coach, obviously trying to get that to their level, when they're on their PS4, their Xbox, we encourage them, don't look at the control pad, look at the screen, get your head up, scan all the time. And that's what Jordan, that was a real superpower of Jordan. Maybe, I don't know, it might have something to do with him having his baseball cap on right over his eyes. I think it might have played a small part. The young man there on the bottom left, playing for Fulham, Cameron Burgess, was one of the most determined players I've ever coached. He was never the best in his group, was always struggling. And we said to Cam, you've always got to train like a number 2. This was taken from Michael Johnson, the legendary American sprinter. He said this quote, train like a number 2. And it really hit home to Cameron. It resonated a lot with him. And when we went on a tour recently, he reminded us of that. But he was typically a guy that was never one of the best players, but was so determined. And anything that he's achieved in the game, he's played for Australia. He's now playing for Salford in England. Anything he has ever achieved has simply been through determination and work ethic. The most talented footballer I have ever coached. The young man wearing the yellow and blue kit there, a team called Central Coast Mariners here in Australia. He was a young man called Daniel De Silva, signed for Roma, signed a 5-year contract for Roma. Every single club wanted him. But Daniel De Silva was all about, he was a street footballer. And lots of coaches used to tell us, you know, he's fantastic at skills and tricks, but you can't do it in a game. And I think that's quite a narrow-minded approach. I think Dan De Silva is one of the most creative players because that's what he loved to do. He had a lot of flair. He played with so much fun and freedom. And when you have those kind of kids, those players in your group, you've got to encourage that. Find out what they really love to do. What are their superpowers? And hone in on it and encourage it and embrace it. And you'll find that they'll go away and practice, and they'll fall in love with the game. Young man in the bottom corner, that was at one of our tours at Manchester City. But Costa went over to England at a very young age, was just so passionate, just a passionate young man. And anything he's achieved through pure passion. But if you look at all those words I've used, there's nothing about technical or tactical. It's all about, like I said, those choices that players make. And you've got to encourage those words and those choices with the players and the kids that you coach. My friend Oliver De Girolami, don't know if you can see there, but he's wearing a pair of Diodora boots. So I think it's important, if you can, to think of a nickname for the players, something that you know and they know makes them unique to you as a coach. So Oliver, we never use his surname. I always call him Oliver Diodora. And when Oliver Diodora arrives, whenever he hears the word Oliver Diodora, he's normally got a big smile on his face. And I think the next sort of the words that I'll finish up on probably sort of sum up my coaching philosophy. And it was taken from William Churchill. So people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And I think the connections that we have with our players are so important. I can be the best coach in the world, have the best coaching knowledge, can develop the best session plans on Session Planner, Sports Session Planner. But if the players that I'm coaching don't know that I take a general interest in their development as people, I don't think you can connect with them as much as you'd be able to if they generally don't know that you care. If you guys get a chance when we can start traveling again, that is the corridor at St. George's Park, which is an amazing place for coaches to go and learn. It's the home of the England team, and it's a hotbed for coaching all different sports, but it's an amazing place. And that's a wonderful quote that I love. Often the toughest challenge is implementing ideas for change. And I think change, as coaches, you always want to change, you always want to evolve, you always want to develop. And I think it's really important that as coaches, we want to learn as much as possible. So guys, thanks for your time. I've certainly enjoyed it. I hope you guys have understood my English. I'm speaking very slowly. I hope you can understand me. And hopefully if you've learned one thing, I'll be really, really proud and delighted. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. I think football is a common language across the globe, and very intrinsic and valid points that you shared. Something, of course, we all can learn from. But I think there are a few points that we would love to have you elaborate or reiterate, and we can take up a few questions and carry on the discussion. So, Kana, would you want to unmute yourself and ask the question? Ayush, can we unmute Kana? Okay, I'll ask his question. He said, when you said that don't shine the light, I understand where you're coming from, but how do you fix a particular issue that occurs on the pitch without drawing the attention to it? If it's done retrospectively, does it have the same impact?
It just depends what environment you're in, a cash. Like if you're coaching a team environment, and let's just say it's a technical issue with the player, I think you can do that in a one-on-one environment when the session's going ahead rather than stopping the whole session. By all means, if it's a tactical issue and it involves the whole team, then obviously there's an opportunity there to freeze your session, get in, get your point across, and then get back out as quickly as possible. It all depends on the environment. I think for me, when we say don't shine the light, that's particularly when Mark has made an error. Everybody can see that error. I want to go and help Mark, but I don't want to shine the light on him because he already feels that he's let the team down. He's frustrated with himself. So that's what I mean. Don't shine the light on that player if it's an individual issue that needs to be addressed. I think you can be a lot more powerful by going and speaking to that player as the session's going on without stopping the session. Hopefully that makes sense.
Kanav, I hope that answers your question. If you have a follow-up, then just go ahead and type it in the chat. We have Amar Mandal who's raised his hand. Can we unmute his mic, please? Ayush?
Yeah, he's not unmuting himself. I've asked.
Amar, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Amar, can you hear us?
He's putting it in the chat box.
Okay. Till then, we have Vijay Kumar also who's raised his hand. Vijay Kumar, you can ask your question. You can unmute and ask a question. Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, coach, and hi, everyone. Thank you very much for this beautiful opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank AFF for providing such a beautiful facility for all of us to gain knowledge from abroad coaches, basically. I can say that. And my question is, in grassroots, basically, we have to also, what should I say? We have to justify our parents as well, because they'll be watching from outside. But there will be definitely some pressure from parents to change the position, whatever it is. They wanted the kids to be as a striker, but he wants to be as a defender. Though we keep on switching their roles, you know.
That's BJ. That's a fantastic question, and a question that we get asked all the time here in Australia as well. Can you give me the example of the age of a child? What age would the kids be that you're talking about?
9. It's 9.
9. Okay, so my little boy's 9. He's in year 5. He's in Perth, Australia here. And Daniel, unfortunately to Daniel, he has to do maths and science. He loves PE. He has to do Japanese. He has to do history. When kids go to school, they learn all subjects. If you have a 9-year-old and you only play that 9-year-old as a striker, he's only going to learn how to be a striker. If you're a 9-year-old and you tell the 9-year-old girl, this week you're going to play as a centre back, in the second half you're going to play as a left back, then you're going to play as a striker, they're going to learn all the different positions. So I think it's very, very important that you educate parents on, as a 9-year-old, it's a wonderful opportunity. It's a discovery phase of their development. You want them to learn as many different positions as possible. And that's very, very important that parents understand that as well. And if they can do that, they're going to understand the game. They're going to have more fun. It's going to become easier to them. And hopefully they'll play the game for a very, very long time. But they'll have had a great learning opportunity when they're young if you do give them an opportunity to play in as many different positions as possible. I hope that answers your question, BJ.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Nice, great. We had Jahar who had raised his hand. Jahar, you want to ask your question?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. I believe I have already typed out my question. Have you seen it? Or shall I tell now?
You can ask.
Please ask us.
Just see, if sometimes it happens that a player, in spite of his best effort, is unable to find success. Now, what will be the mentality of the coach at that time?
If a player can't find success, can you give me an example during a game?
Yeah,
training
not in the
session?
during practice session.
So if a player isn't getting success,
He's not finding success in spite of his giving the sincere efforts. He's not finding success. Then what will be the advices from the coaches?
I think, listen, with all due respect, players will learn more away from your training session. So, for example, if a player's passing needs to be better, if you can instill a love of the game, that player will want to go back and practice. If you can encourage a growth mindset, and the players that you coach understand that the more they put into their developments, the greater their skill set's going to be. If they need to pass, you understand that you can encourage them to go and play against the wall. The wall's always going to be your best friend. The wall will always play with you. So if you're coaching a team 1-2 sessions a week, I think it's your role as a coach to increase that love of the game and that enthusiasm and that desire to want to go and play more. And that's when the player will develop away from your training sessions, because they love the game and all they want to do is play with the ball. And that's when the true development will become away from what you're actually doing with them during your coaching sessions. You know, it depends on the age of the player. Success, what is success? I think success for us as youth coaches is that the players we coach want to come back the next season or the next session. They've had so much fun with you and they've been engaged so much they can't wait for next week to see you again, because they know they're going to have a fantastic time and you're going to be a wealth of knowledge and you're there to support them. So it just depends what you can define as success. So success to me is the child wants to come back to my next training session. I hope that answers your question.
But one thing,
I beg your pardon?
One thing I want to ask again, that when you conduct sessions, definitely you do not get success 100%. Some 10-15% ultimately doesn't get the satisfactions of the coaches. Now, what will be your idea at that time to develop those persons, those players who are unable to provide you success or satisfactions? I believe in a training session, you cannot get 100% players giving you success, giving you satisfaction. So what will be your attitude to those players who are unable to put their best, satisfy the coach to be in the team?
Yeah, to me, my mindset is I don't want any players to satisfy me. I want players to satisfy themselves. I hand on heart, have never came away from a session being satisfied that my session went exactly the way I thought it was going to go, because I don't think anybody will ever do that. I don't think Messi or Ronaldo will ever finish a game and they think their success rate was 100%. And that's the beautiful thing about sport. I don't think you ever get true success. I think there's a holy grail out there that everybody's searching for, but you're never going to get it because you constantly want to become better. So it just depends on how you want to flip your coaching philosophy. What do you define as success? Like I said before, success to me is the players want to come back. Success to me is the players can see development. But I think as a coach, we have a greater power than the success of a child or a player being able to pass the ball over a certain distance or be able to score 7-8 times out of 10. It just depends on what you define success. And my idea of success is that the children, the players want to come back and want to keep playing the game.
I'm not talking about the child, all the underage players. I'm talking about the professional players. So suppose you have a team of 30 players. I believe you won't get success. Yeah, you are not satisfied giving training to all 30 players and coming out that 100% players are able to be in the team. So I'm talking about the players who are unable to satisfy coach to put in the team, what will be your suggestions to those players who are unable to?
So you're saying that the players that don't make the squad, don't make the starting 11, is that what you mean?
Right.
Yeah. Listen, they're the most important ones in your squad. The players that aren't selected in the squad or are completely left out of the squad, they're the ones that you have to try and keep happy. And that's your art as a coach, to be able to say the right things to them, to make them feel really part of it, to let them know that you're watching, and unfortunately you can only select 11 to start. You maybe only can have 15 or 16 in your squad, and some players are going to miss out. And that's why you just have to develop those relationships with your players and have honest conversations with them. I remember as a player being left out of teams, and the coach didn't even have the conversation with me. I just used to see it on the notice board or the whiteboard, and that to me was really negative. It really impacted me as a person. I think it's very important that players understand you can't choose everybody, and those ones that do miss out, are left out, you have to have honest conversations with them and tell them why they've missed out, what they need to work on.
Thank you, coach. Thank you, coach.
Thank you very much.
Great. We have Sanat Kumar Pore, who's raised his hand. You can unmute and ask a question, Sanat.
Hello, sir.
Hey, Sanat.
Hello.
Hi.
I am audible?
Yes. You can ask your question.
Sir, I think that coach will act as a parent. Am I right, sir? Number one.
I beg your pardon. Can you just repeat that again, please, Sanat?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sanat, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
Sir, I think that coach will act as parents to the guys. Am I right, sir?
So you think as a coach we have to take the role as a parent sometimes? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's saying coaches are like parents.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. I think we have you do not know what goes on away from your training session, or away from game day. So it's so important that you make the children, the players, make them feel part of it and make them feel special, because you don't know what goes on in their life. And your coaching session, game day, might be the most positive part of their week. So that's why it's all about connections and making them feel really, really special. And they have to know that you respect them, and you're going to care for them, you're going to look after them, and you're going to watch out for them. And that's a great analogy. Sometimes in your session, you do take on the role as a parent. Absolutely, that's a great point.
Sir, another question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have seen some student of us in practice match, they are very skillful, and we know that a player may shine with his skill. So in practice match, they are very skillful, but in competition match, they play very ordinary. What is the way out?
Yeah, came across thousands and played with many players like that. You have to think about, when it comes to game day, what are the expectations of the parents and the coaching staff? So I imagine during your training session, it can be quite relaxed. You're not taking scores sometimes, and the child is free to play. That when it comes to game day, there might be that pressure. We tell all of the kids that we coach here in Perth, the only pressure to them should be the pressure that is inside the ball. I think when it comes to game day is just an extension of your training session. Game day is an opportunity for you to see the information you've been given, the sessions you've been putting on. That's an opportunity for you to see how you're doing as a coach. And that's why it's really important that you should educate parents and your coaching staff on what you actually want to get from the game. If it's about the results, the child's going to feel a lot of pressure. They won't want to express themselves for fear of failure, for fear of making a mistake. So you have to be quite clever on how you set up your game day and the messages that you're giving the boys and girls because it should really just be an extension of your training sessions. And if it's an extension of your training sessions, hopefully the child that you're talking about or the players you're talking about, they won't change the way they play. But whenever there's any kind of fear is an inhibitor of play. You cannot play when you feel any kind of fear or pressure. So it's very important that you set up that game day environment similar to your training environment. Does that answer your question, or?
Okay, thank you,
does that
sir.
help?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Few valid points to consider there. And we have Sorja who raised her hand. Yes.
Good evening,
Please.
sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my question is that I am 20 years old and I have never played professional football, but I have completed my D license course and I am currently involved with the Hooghly District Sports Association. And sir, people started doubting in my ability, and it's really depressing for me to go to the field and coach the junior players, grassroots level players, because I have heard the parents of the players are talking about he have never played for professional football. How can he become a coach, and how can he guide our son or daughter? Sir, how to deal with this problem, sir?
Yeah,
Sir,
well, first of all, Soja, I'd love you to get in contact with me anytime. We can discuss it a lot further, because everything that you've just said there happened to me, still happens to me now. You know, people still doubt my coaching philosophy. People still doubt that I've not played at the highest levels of the game. Yes, I've been a professional, but I've not played at the highest levels. Don't let that deter you. If you have a passion for developing, if you have a passion for coaching, you know, whatever you achieve in your life, it never comes easy. So what I would say to you, if you believe in yourself, continue to coach, continue to put yourself in as many situations where you feel really uncomfortable, because that's where you will grow. Coaching's not easy. Coaching must be the only profession where everybody can see what you're doing. You can't shut the door when you're coaching. Everybody's got an opinion. Like I said before, I had an opinion of the guy that was coaching and had an intervention for 4 minutes, 23 seconds. But I didn't know what he said during that time. He might have been giving the players some absolute gold dust. They might have been asking him loads and loads of questions. So unfortunately with coaching, everybody has an opinion. Do you know what, Sergio? Don't listen to them. If you believe in yourself, if the players that you're coaching can see that you're genuine and you've got a real passion, at 20 years of age, I'm 42 now, I'm completely different to what I was then. Hopefully I'm a better coach, but I'm completely different. And over the years and the more sessions you do, the more people you speak to, the more people you connect to, that will give you confidence. Never doubt yourself. Believe in yourself. If coaching's a passion, let that shine through. But please get in touch. I'd love to talk to you further on this. I'd love to help you if you want to chat. No problem at all.
Sir, one thing more, sir. What is the, can I become a successful coach in future? Because sir, the players who have played high levels, professional games, play big clubs, play I leagues, ISLs, are also having license these days, and they're also coming to this field of coaching. Sir, what is the chance of getting success of people like me who have never even played a professional football in high levels, not even in lower levels as well?
Yeah, you're starting very young though, so you're only 20. You know, you've got a passion for coaching. If you didn't have a passion, you wouldn't be listening to this. I'm sure you're, you know, like you said, I'm telling your voice that you want to make a career out of it. The best coaches weren't the best players. Yes, if you can play, you've got an understanding of the game, but it doesn't mean you can communicate. Doesn't mean you can plan. Doesn't mean that you can spend hours and hours and hours developing your craft. You know, coaching is not just putting a session on. It's the stuff that you do away. It's the learning that takes place when you've failed and failed and failed again. It's like I said before, when you're getting in the car and you're picking apart your coaching session, I should have done this better. I could have done that better. So just believe in yourself, learn, do as many coaching qualifications as possible. The beautiful thing about our game is I find that if you're genuine and you've got a passion, people are out there to help you. and people will share and support. So I wish you every success. I can tell in your voice you've got a passion for it. And like I said, there's many people out there that will help and will listen. But if you do want to talk or you want to share emails, I would only be too glad to help. Please get in touch at any time.
Thank
So,
you, sir. Thank
Sorja,
you
I
so
think
much.
just adding to that, there are a lot of known coaches who've never played at all or never played professionally and are great coaches. I've just been texted that Sari is a great example, and a couple of other coaches. But I think, Sorja, you should start to have a nice learning curve. You can start assisting known coaches in your community. You can start interning there or volunteer yourself and train and be like your understudy and work with trained coaches in the community so that you can learn from them and it will add to your credibility. So there are many ways that you can keep on learning from the best, and then eventually you will turn out to be a greater coach. And your passion will, of course, take you through this entire process.
Yeah, that's great advice, Akash.
So I think thanks, Sorja, for the question. We have a question from Amar Mondal. He says, "I'm very interested in football coaching, but I don't know how to start like professionals. Can you please advise him on this?"
Yeah, I think like you said, Akash,
So, Amar, I think what I just told Sorja, and I think what Mark also told Sorja, could be a starting point. And if you've heard that, please give us a thumbs up. And I think, Mark, you can add to whatever you want to add.
yeah, as well though, there's very few and far between roles within the professional game. You can have an impact and you can make coaching your life and your profession without coaching professional footballers. It's the 99% of the people out there that aren't going to be professionals, they still want to be coached, and there's a role in the game for you if you have that drive and determination to make coaching your profession. It's not easy at all. You're going to doubt yourself. There's many hurdles you got to jump over, but connect with as many people as you can, and there certainly are opportunities out there.
Amar, I hope that answers your question. We have Julian who's raised the hand. Please unmute and ask a question.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I would reading and learning. It always helps in the development of any individual, and the same would apply for coaches. In your perspective, in your opinion, are there any staple novels or books or autobiographies or biographies which we can read and learn from, and gain some motivation and inspiration?
Yeah, there's lots out there. There's lots of choice. I think I'm very interested in it. I love listening to podcasts. I think in between sessions, the car journey to and from is a wonderful opportunity to learn. There's some fantastic podcasts out there that you can listen to. There really is lots of books. The one that I like big time, and the one of the sports psychology books. I think there's some outstanding ones out there. But I think just have a look and find out what your passion is, what you're certain, what makes really interests you, and sort of delve into them and enjoy reading them. Have you any that you read at the minute that you've enjoyed?
I've been listening to a few podcasts, as you mentioned. Although I've been looking for some books online, but I can't really pick on a certain book.
Yeah, well, if you send me an email, I can send you a list of the ones that I've read, the ones that I think are certainly worth your while. No problem at all. Please get in touch and I can share those with you.
It will be a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Julian. I think Johan Cruyff's autobiography, My Turn, is a great book, I think, which every person in the business of football should read, not just player coaches, but everybody related to the business. And I think that's a good management book as well, because his life story is the phases that he's had. They're amazing to read and learn from. So yeah, good question. Any other question? Or yes, we have a question from Prashant Rana. Question 1: What pro football training doing for Indian football?
Well, listen, as soon as we can travel, I would love to come to India and experience what you guys are, the success that you're having with the game over there. So as
And
soon as we can travel, if there's an
Yeah.
opportunity, I'd love to come to India and experience and learn from you guys. That would be outstanding.
And he's asking any opportunities for us, Indian coaches at pro.
Absolutely.
football.
We've had lots of coaches visit us. We've had Ajax from Holland. We've had Brighton from England. Before the whole pandemic, we had Leeds United all set to come to Perth. So there's always an opportunity for you guys. Would love to welcome coaches over to Western Australia. It's a beautiful part of the world. So if anybody would like to come and watch, observe, learn, yeah, that would be fantastic.
I think that's something that you guys can take offline as well. And Mark, I think it's a good opportunity for you to probably share your email and your Twitter and Instagram handle for everybody on chat, and then we can follow and connect with you offline as well.
Yeah, what's the best way to do that, mate?
If you can just go to the next to share screen, there is chat.
Yeah, no problem. I'll put it in it.
Till then, if anybody else has a question to type or ask, please raise your hand or type into the chat box. And along with Mark's coordinates, we'll also share, I think, good opportunity to share about the sports session planner. If I can have Ayush share the link as well. Everybody should review this document. It's a great software and platform to use for coaching. I think your coaching, execution, and planning will change, and it'll be a world of a difference in your execution of coaching and connecting to players. So,
yeah, listen, I use it on a daily basis, and we share with all the coaches here in Perth. It's the best. It's the best that I've seen. It's the best I've been a part of. So I highly recommend getting involved with Sports Session Planner. Outstanding tool.
Yeah, great to hear that, because that's the reason we partnered, because we want to revolutionize the Delhi and Pan India coaching methodology and execution, because we can move away from writing session plans or on PPTs and have a great software that you can have your library, have it like a Bible, a ready document that you can have. So any other question? Anybody else? Mark, did you share? Did you type in your details?
Yeah.
Who did it go through?
Do you know what? Sorry, my apologies. I might have just might have been a direct message. Let me have a look, see if I can do it again. So type message, nah, chat.
Chat to everyone. There'll be an option to chat, send to everyone.
Yeah, I might have just sent in an individual one. I do apologize. Yeah, that's just a direct message. Sorry guys. Chat. I mean, simply, it is. You can follow me on Twitter. It's Mark Lee FC. And in pro football training is PFT programs. How do I do this? Chat. No. Basically, guys, my email address is Mark, M-A-R-K, at M for Mark, L for Lee, F for football, C for coaching.com.au.
Yeah.
There you go. James Robinson's done it. Thanks, James.
Yeah. Thanks for that. The email is there on the chat, and then we have a request from Sanat. Sir, if you could speak about Bish Bash Boss.
Bish Bash Boss.
Sanat, can we open his Ayush? Can we open his camera? Probably Mark and Sanat can do a round, and that'll help him.
Can we give it a try?
Sanat?
Yes, sir.
Yes, can we open his camera?
He can now.
Yes. Sanat, you can open your camera and have a round of Bish Bash Bosh and understand that better.
When I was doing this presentation, Akash, my wife said, "Don't put bish bash bosh in." I'm pleased I put it in now.
Hello.
Yes. Sanat,
Yes, sir.
can you please open your camera? Then we can have a quick round of Bish Bash Bosh.
Yes, sir.
We can't see you.
কোথায় গেল? Sir, camera does not work.
Do you want me
Not
to explain
working?
it again?
Okay, no worries. Then I'll probably. You can watch us, Sanat.
Wait until I tell the kids that I'm coaching in the morning that bish bash bosh has became famous in India. They won't believe me. So, bish bash bosh, okay? Bish bash, and then I've got to decide if I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0. Whatever Akash holds up, it's the first one to shout out the answer. Now, Akash has given me this wonderful idea to do this as a group as well, which is next level. He's far more intelligent than I am. Are you ready, Akash? We'll just go one hand for now, mate.
Yeah.
Bish, bash, bosh.
2.
Ah, winner. Smash me. Well done, mate. And then
Sanat, did
obviously
you
you
get
can
it?
go 2 hands.
Okay,
If a
sir.
kid isn't interested, give him one of those. 10. That always brings a smile.
Okay, sir.
Guys, what I'll do is when we can travel, we'll just organize some bish bash bosh camps. Forget about the football.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to sign off and end the session. I think everybody is, we don't have any more questions. And I think it was a great session. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, SSP, for doing this for us today and helping us celebrate the Coach Education Day festival from not just in India, but have the international flavor as well. So thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining in. Tomorrow is the last day of the 3-day celebration. We have another session tomorrow in the morning. Details will be shared on our Instagram and Facebook, and it's on coach leadership. And then in the evening, we have the celebration of Santosh Kashyap sir, and we will sign off with a panel discussion after tomorrow evening session. So look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow as well in the morning and evening. Till then, take care, stay safe, and thank you, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks SSP and Football Delhi. And I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys have just taken one thing apart from bish bash bosh away from the presentation. Take care and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.